again. Well, this is quite exciting. It's beginning of July and the start of the big cruise. I've got nearly a month before I have to go back up to Derbyshire. So the plan is to set off this morning and head west and keep on going until I run out of steam, really. The very, very best scenario would be I'd make it to the Scilly Isles, but I'd be quite happy if I just get into Cornwall or somewhere like that. So it's no stress, no heroics, just a nice gentle cruise along the south coast in a westerly direction from Gosport. So here we go. A familiar sight as we're leaving Portsmouth Harbour, and we're heading to round Gilkicker Point, which is just up there. We've got a bit of north in the wind, which is great. Zephyr IV is doing a steady 5 knots, and we're on our way either to Cowes or, if we can, down to Newtown Creek again. And lots of food on board, and hopefully the weather's going to hold for us with the wind in with a bit of north in it, which really helps, and we're going to go off down to the west and see what happens. Well, here we are coming up to Cowes, just trying to scrape round it on this tack. The wind's been very convenient for us. It's come round just a little bit. 16 knots at the moment, we're doing about 4, and looks like we're going to clear the headland there. There's somebody going past in the other direction. Might not be all that windy, but that cat over there is really tramping. It's really going. It's a shame it's not a bit closer. Can't give you a really good shot. But, well, this is grand. Looks like we're going to get past Cowes without too much trouble. We're quite a long way out and holding the course nicely. Telltales in the jib. All right, so we're pretty much okay. We're donking along at 4.5 knots, so quite pleasant, really. Oh, the vagaries of sailing. The wind has headed us. It's come round in front, and it doesn't look as if we're going to get round this headland at Egypt Point at Cowes, so we might have to tack. I'm just hanging on in there at the moment, but it looks a bit touch and go. It really does. That's just the way it is, though. That's sailing, isn't it? But just hope maybe the wind will just come round and free us enough. It's very, very close, touch and go. So we've tacked away now, away from Cowes, and in a minute we'll tack round and head on back again. Wind's picked up quite a bit actually, and we're now punching into the wind against tide sea, so the boat's throwing a lot of water around. Fortunately, behind the spray hood we're quite dry, but you can see the wash. We're along really up to reef, but I'm heading towards the island where the wind will be reduced and the sea will be a bit calmer as well, and maybe taking a reef then. There's Cowes, where we passed about 3/4 of an hour ago. Not the only boat, there's quite a lot of boats out here plugging to windward. It's 28 to 30 knots at the moment, so plenty of breeze. Collision course with this here boat. He's going to get out of my way. It's okay. I'm on starboard tack, so in theory I've got right away. But it's a bit lumpy. You wouldn't want to be down below trying to cook a dinner, that's for sure. He's motor sailing, but he's getting bounced about quite a bit. Quite a lot smaller than our boat. Well, I'm sure these buoys are magnetic. There's a green one up ahead, look. I'm headed straight for it. I'll have to steer around it. Right, we're doing nearly 5 knots, 4.9 knots now, and there's the buoy. As you can see, we're zooming past it. And if you look at the base of it, you can see the tide running again along it. This is the way to sail. Lots of speed through the water and lots of tide going in the right direction as well. Now the little yellow buoy that we can just see between the shrouds is one that we want. That's the entrance marker for Newtown Creek. So we're pretty much heading directly for it, which is pretty good. Time to start thinking about getting rid of sails and stuff like that. It's lovely to be back in Newtown Creek again, but it's pretty full. All the buoy moorings are taken, and all of the good anchoring spots too. I did finally manage to find a clear spot, but there's really not that much water under the keel. It's pretty much low water here in Newtown Creek, and Beguiler next door, she's a bilge keeler, so he's on the mud, and I'm on the mud, but nowhere near as high in the mud as he is. I'm just a few inches of the keel in the mud. So this is pretty much low water, and it'll start to come back up again very shortly. Early the following morning we were afloat, but on a fast ebbing tide, so I quickly dressed and got underway. Breakfast would have to wait until I could get out of the harbour and anchor outside. Good morning, it's 6:30 in the morning. I've been up since about 5:30, just dropped the hook here and had a breakfast, just having my coffee, and then we'll get off on our way down to Poole and catch the ebbing tide. It's not a bad morning, wind's not quite the direction I wanted, but it'll do, and we'll motor for a bit. Could do topping the batteries up anyway after using the radio the other night. So this is where we are. There's Newtown Creek over there, the entrance, where I've just come. That's the view down to towards Yarmouth and Hurst Castle. There's way in the distance, you can see the Isle of Wight Yarmouth ferry going across. So that's where we're going in a bit. I just need to drink my coffee, and then we'll gradually donk off over there. The wind's picking up all the time. Actually, it was about 4 knots, I think, when I came out, and now it is 6 knots. Well, that's not a big pickup, is it? But it will do. Anyway, Newtown Creek, just leaving. And I'm motoring for the time being. There was a bit of breeze, but not really very much. Tide's nearly 2 knots in my direction, so boat speed currently is 4 knots, and speed over the ground is 6, so that's pretty good. closer to Hurst Castle now. That's Yarmouth over there, with all its masts and the ferry. And if we look over the other side, way in the distance, you can see a Forester mast, and that's Lymington. There's the Needles over there. Unfortunately the wind's dead against us, but we're laying quite a good course, and I think we're just maybe a couple of tacks at the most, we'll be into Poole. Doing 2.8 knots in about 14 knots of wind, fairly hard on the wind. Well, sailing to windward doesn't come much more pleasant than this. A tiny bit more wind would be nice. It's just 10 knots at the moment, and we're doing about 3 knots over the ground. I've come right in shore. This is Hengersbury Head over there, which is the sticky outy bit from Christchurch. And as we come round here, we're now heading towards Bournemouth Beach and what have you. And inshore here, the sea is really quite calm, so this is a good place to be with such light wind. And I'm going to keep going into Bournemouth until run out of water and then tack out, because where we want to be is over there, where that's Old Harry Rocks. Those of you who've seen these videos of me sailing and know about that already, but that's where the entrance to Poole Harbour is. There is an inshore passage, but I think I'll take the deep water one. I'm having a sort of informal race with a couple of other yachts. There's one out there who was ahead of me at one stage, but and he still is, I suppose, because he's out to windward. And then there's one right behind me, way over there, and we're pulling away from him fairly steadily actually, so that's quite interesting. But they're all got everything pinned in as hard as they can, and in these light airs it just slows the boat down. It's better to sail a bit more freely, and Zephyr likes that. So there you are, we're in Bournemouth Bay, I suppose. It's quite pleasant, and we've got 58 feet of water at the moment, so nothing to worry about yet. Well, the wind's changed again, and we're now almost on a broad reach heading for Poole Bar Buoy. Instead of trying to go through the inner entrance at the north of the channel, we're now heading out to Poole Bar Buoy and doing close on 6 knots. It's fantastic, really enjoying this. Be in Poole, I should think, in about another hour, the way things are going. It's been a lovely sail, very varied, lots of work going on adjusting and things, but yeah, she's doing well today. We're rushing towards the buoys now, not very far to go. In a few minutes it'll be start the engine time and fill the headsail, fill the Genoa before we turn right and go up the passage to the entrance to Poole over there. There's Poole Bar Buoy. And there's the port mark over there. So there's a channel to the left of the main channel for small boats, so I'm just going to go straight across the channel and start sorting sails out over there. Well, we're leaving Poole, heading south now with the wind behind us, which is lovely, and heading for Weymouth or Portland, not quite sure which at the moment. This is Old Harry Rocks. Old Harry Rocks, which you can see for miles out, that lovely white chalk cliff. And boat's doing quite well, doing nearly 4 knots with a fairly light wind. So we're looking forward to a nice day. It's not very sunny, which I'm not all that bothered about, as long as it doesn't rain, and the forecast is for 0 rain. There's Swanage over there. Nice place, but not particularly good for anchoring or mooring. Very few facilities for boaters. And we're coming up to Anvil Point with this castle on the top. The wind's dropped off a bit light, but we're still doing 3.5 knots, almost dead downwind. My booming out pole hasn't broken yet, so that's a good sign. This is Anvil Point with the Coast Guard station, and coming into view behind it is St Albans Head. So we're going to carry on out a little bit further from here and then turn to starboard, or right for some of you, and that'll be on a broad reach, and then we're heading off down towards Weymouth. I'm getting out a little bit more for 2 reasons: A, because there'll be a little bit more wind out there, we won't be in the lee of the land, and B, there is a firing range at Lulworth Cove, and so I need to contact them and find out how far out they're firing today. There are 2 ranges, one going quite a long way and one, the inshore one's not so bad. You'd think they'd be sending all the ammunition to the Ukraine, wouldn't you? But I bet they're banging away. So we have to check to make sure where they want us to sail. Gradually creeping past St Albans Head. It always seems to take forever to get past this. I don't know why. There doesn't appear to be any tide against us of any note, but it just always seems to take a long time, and it's always rough out here as well. It's the in fact, with the tidal stream running pretty hard, it's very rough. It's a race, in fact. But we're doing all right. Wind on the beam, 15, 16 knots, 5 knots on the knot meter, and Weymouth and Portlandville are in view. They're away in the distance there, so this could be an awful lot worse. A bit of sunshine would be nice, but I think that's coming. It's getting brighter and brighter, so maybe we'll get a bit of sunshine as well. But it's not cold, it's just a bit gloomy. It's a lovely coast along here. This is the Dorset coast, full of nooks and crannies. And what I'm looking for, I think, is just up ahead, about there, which is Lulworth Cove. Very, very popular place. It's a nice mooring in this wind direction. It wouldn't be anything else. It does tend to roll a lot in there, but and gets very busy. Portlandville itself is now very obvious, and we're heading for the harbour. I'm trying to catch this boat up ahead. When the wind's strong, then I'm faster than he is, but when it gets light, then he keeps going when I slow down. But we're about probably 4 or 5 miles to run now to the harbour, so it'll be interesting whether I can catch him. If the wind pipes up a bit, then I will, but at the moment I'm just holding my own. It's turned out to be an absolutely lovely afternoon. Look at the colour of that sea, it's gorgeous. And there's Portland and Portland Harbour. Let's get clear of the rigging. And there's the entrance that we're going in. The little boat that we've been chasing all the way from St Albans Head is still just ahead of us, and he's just going in. We'll be in a few minutes. So that's the entrance into the harbour itself. She looks lovely. Well, eventually I managed to find a buoy and get myself tied up to it. Thank you, Castle Sailing Club. It's much appreciated. It's a lovely afternoon, but the wind's gone right round to the west. So I need to look at the forecast and see what's going on. This is the moorings. You can see lots of little boats. Very, very nice. It's quite peaceful. Really excellent. And that's where we came from. Over there, that's the Dorset coastline.
Hey, thank you for watching. This is the end of episode 1, probably the easiest part of the trip. Please click on the subscribe and notification button. It costs nothing, but it will warn you when episode 2 is posted. In that, you'll see me round the notorious Portland Bill and travel further west across Lyme Bay to the West Country. Not to be missed.